Later, I'm going to see my favorite band. I'm at the famous Glastonbury Festival, a British cultural institution and one of the biggest music and arts festivals in the world. I'll show you around the festival site and we'll have a look at clauses in the English language along the way. A clause is a group of words that includes a subject and a verb and forms a sentence or part of a sentence. So, a clause is not the same as a sentence. It's not a synonym. A sentence can have just one clause, or it can have multiple clauses. There are independent clauses and dependent clauses. What's the difference? An independent clause is a group of words that includes a subject and a verb and can form a sentence. It can stand on its own and doesn't need further information. A dependent clause, on the other hand, is not a sentence, but adds information to the main part of a sentence. It's typically introduced with a conjunction like before, so, because, or if. I'll give you an example. I like festivals because I enjoy open-air concerts. I like festivals is an independent clause. It is a sentence on its own and can stand alone. Because I enjoy open-air concerts is a dependent clause. It doesn't really make sense on its own. It relates to the main part of the sentence and gives you further information about the main clause. This is the basic difference between clauses. Now, we'll take the next step and have a look at different kinds of dependent clauses. In this video, we'll focus on noun clauses, adverbial clauses, and conditional clauses. First, noun clauses. A noun clause is defined as a group of words that contain a subject and verb, but the entire clause acts as a single noun. Sounds complicated? Let me explain. Noun clauses often start with that, who, how, what, where, when, and why. I'll show you some examples. I know where the stage is. I know is the main clause, and where the stage is the noun clause. She knows how to play the guitar. She knows is the main clause, and how to play the guitar is the noun clause. Here's how you can check if a clause acts as a noun clause. You can try to replace it with a pronoun. In our example, you could easily say, I know it. You could replace where the stage is with the pronoun it. Therefore, where the stage is a noun clause. So, it works as the object of the sentence. The same's true for the second example. You could say, she knows it. On to our next clause, the adverbial clause. This clause is a dependent clause that acts as an adverb in a sentence. Just a short repetition. An adverb describes how something is done. So, an adverbial clause also describes the action of a sentence further. Adverbial clauses help to answer questions like when, why, how, where, or by how much something is done. An adverbial clause often starts with a subordinating conjunction. For example, after, although, since, until, or because. Let's practice with some example sentences. I'll make my way to the stage after I've put up my tent. I'll make my way to the stage is the main clause, and after I've put up my tent is the adverbial clause. You can ask, when will I make my way to the stage? And the adverbial clause gives you the answer. After I have put up my tent. Adverbial clauses are quite flexible. You can easily swap them around. After I have put up my tent, I'll make my way to the stage. Here, you must pay attention to the comma. One more example. I won't get sunburned because I've applied sunscreen. we can swap them around again. Because I've applied sunscreen, I won't get sunburned. The last type of clause I want to mention in this video are conditional clauses. Maybe you already know them as if clauses. If clauses express a situation or condition and its possible result. For example, if there is a famous band playing tomorrow, there will be a huge audience. Conditionals help you talk about hypothetical situations. That means situations that are unrealistic, depend on certain conditions, could have happened in the past, or may happen in the future. If clauses are made up of two parts. The part that contains the if is called conditional clause or if clause, and the other part is the main clause. Because there are different types of if clauses, we made an extra video on that topic as well. Let's recap. We talked about different types of clauses. There are independent clauses that can stand on their own and form a complete sentence. Then there are dependent clauses. These are groups of words that cannot stand on their own. They give further information to the independent clause or the main clause. We had a look at different kinds of dependent clauses, such as noun clauses. Their name lets you know that the entire clause acts as a noun. Noun clauses can easily be replaced by a pronoun. Then we studied adverbial clauses. Here, the whole group of words functions as an adverb. The clause may describe how, when, or why something is done. And lastly, we looked at conditional clauses or if clauses. They consist of a main clause and a conditional clause and are used to talk about hypothetical situations. Did you know that the ticket price for the first Glastonbury Festival in 1970 was only £1? It even included a pint of milk from the farm where the festival takes place. This year, I had to pay around 400 times the amount. That is without any milk included. Well, I'll leave now to make sure I make the most of this festival experience. See you next time!